Be sure all necessary suspension components are loosened or removed before attempting to install the new unit. You should refer to the appropriate auto repair manual to determine which components should be loosened or removed to properly install new shocks and struts on your specific vehicle. To prevent injury and/or component damage, never loosen the strut shaft nut of a complete strut unit without using the proper tools to support and compress the coil spring. The coil spring is under extreme pressure and can become a projectile should the spring separate from the strut before all the tension is relieved. We recommend replacing the shock or strut mount and any other worn parts or bolts with new to help reduce any pre-existing issues such as wear or noise and help prevent comebacks for the repair work. Prior to the installation of a new mount, it's not necessary to grease the bearing plate as it's been lubricated at the factory. Do not pry or force the new unit into place as it can stress or damage other parts. Never raise a strut into place by tightening the mount nuts or bolts. This could easily damage the threads. Always use the new hardware provided with the unit. There are specific types of nuts and bolts designed to work best with each vehicle. Sometimes they're flange bolts, nylon lock nuts, jam nuts, crimp nuts, or something different. Use a jack to bring the suspension components to the proper height for the installation. Start the strut mount nuts and bolts by hand. Tighten them with a ratchet or wrench just enough to hold the unit in place. Don't use an air ratchet or an impact wrench, as you could over-tighten the mount or damage the threads. Be sure the mounts are installed properly so the knuckle bracket aligns with the lower mounting point. For strut mounts that use a bearing, you can clock the strut to confirm proper alignment for easier installation. Lower the vehicle to the ground and use a torque wrench to tighten all nuts and bolts to the proper torque specifications. The suspension must be loaded in order to get the correct torque. Suspension noise is normally caused by something moving that shouldn't be moving, or something that is supposed to move but can't because it's too tight. Improper tightening of nuts and bolts during installation can cause noise, and most likely necessitate redoing the installation properly. Always take the vehicle for a test drive after installing new suspension components. This will ensure that the springs have settled to their correct ride height and that there are no noises or immediate issues with the installation. Then retorque the bolts after the test drive. Finally, perform a four-wheel alignment after installing new suspension components. Want to learn more? We've got you covered. Visit KYB.com.